After what happened in the month of March in equity markets, who would have thought that a few months down the line, the BSE Sensex would hit the magic figure of 50,000. One of the key reasons for the markets being able to achieve this feat has been global liquidity, and this has been made possible by the coordinated action of central bankers across the globe in tackling a pandemic which we haven't seen for last decades. Having achieved this milestone of 50,000, we all have seen the reform push of the government of India, together with the pent-up demand post lifting of the lockdown, and how corporate India has been able to recover from the shock that the pandemic provided. A lot of measures have been taken by India Incorporation in tackling this pandemic through various measures of cutting cost and doing business in a manner which they haven't done before. Most of the savings that has been implemented is likely to continue going forward, for the simple reason that corporates have cut costs phenomenally, and they have been able to take advantage of the new norm of doing business in India. Formalization of savings, digitalization, coupled with a lot of initiatives which the government of India put forward during the last few months, has helped corporate India recover from the shock, and the Q2 earnings as well as the initial round of earnings that we have seen in Q3 are pointing to a recovery in earnings going forward. The very fact that we have rallied all through April till now to reach this figure of 50,000 is a feat which we all are happy about. And we always look forward to the budget. With a few days left, on the 1st of February, we will be witnessing the union budget. Of course, there are a lot of hopes on the budget as to what the budget will do to kickstart the economy, especially because we are all aware about the amount of money that needs to be spent on healthcare and infrastructure if we really need to achieve or kickstart the Indian economy. Obviously, every sector in the economy expects something or the other from the budget. We may have an automobile industry which is expecting a scrappage policy. You may have various other sections of the society or the sectors operating within the country like aviation, hospitality, who really require support from the budget to come out of this pandemic. How does the government raise resources in the budget? The obvious answer in all budgets have been to raise taxes and to include more and more services and bring them into the tax net. You may all be aware that there is a 4% health and education cess that is levied on the direct taxes, which fetches the government about 30,000 crores. Would this budget raise this cess? We do not know. They may. In my view, the government will have to find innovative ways of raising resources. It is not possible to increase taxes year after year, especially in a year when the pandemic has struck and businesses have got adversely impacted. Several small and medium enterprises are looking forward to the budget, which can take forward the programs that the Government of India has implemented over the last several months in providing the small and medium enterprises an opportunity to come out of this pandemic. So all the manufacturing, the PLI schemes, the entire spectrum of reform push that we have seen in the last few months will need to have a direction, and the direction for this would be the upcoming union budget. As I said, it may not be possible to raise taxes the way every budget has been doing so, because this is an exceptional year, and exceptional years do call for exceptional measures. And there are, of course, a lot of innovative ways the government can raise resources to fund its programs and fund a capex in infrastructure and healthcare, which can really kickstart the Indian economy. So, in my view, the upcoming budget is bound to be a reformist kind of budget, and such a budget will basically try and ensure that India is able to come out of this pandemic. And as I've been saying, the markets are a discounting machine, and the speed with which central bankers across the globe infused liquidity since March 2020 has been the single most reason for equity markets across the globe to recover. And India has been no exception. In fact, India has been one of the best performers in the equity markets as far as emerging markets is concerned. And one of the key reasons for this is the kind of push that we have seen from the Government of India to position India as a strong alternative to China in a variety of sectors, whether it is chemicals and pharmaceuticals, whether it is automobiles, whether it is manufacturing. I think a whole host of sectors is looking forward to the budget to provide the impetus at a time when corporate India has actually deleveraged its balance sheet. And if we really look for operating leverage to play out over the next few years, one gets a feeling that all the reforms that the Government of India has done, beginning with the cuts, the bold cuts in fact, on corporate taxes, to all the other reforms, if they really or indeed were to play out, we could have earnings growth return very strongly. And if this happens, I think scaling of the 50,000 mark in the BSE Sensex could be just the beginning of a new chapter in equity markets, and there is no reason why the markets cannot scale up further in the next few years. Of course, there would be corrections down the way. Whenever the FIIs or the FPIs, because they have been the primary driver of equity markets in this rally, when they book profits, we do have domestic investors who are waiting in the wings because they have been booking profits. So the domestic money would chip in to support the markets on corrections. So in my view, we are in for very interesting times going forward, and a lot depends on the direction that the budget provides to India's efforts in really coming out of this pandemic.